I would like to go directly into the words of my opponent just so that I can highlight not only how certain parts of her argument discredit itself, but also how they provide information that furthers my point of the urgency for strong and effective geopolitical mandates regarding the matter of the dolphins. First off, my opponent argued that the United Nations has nothing to do with animal protection. In fact, she said, and I quote, "There are not any UN documents that focus on animals or animal protection. This makes the UN unsuitable to deal with this issue." End quote. This statement is entirely false and invalidates a major portion of her argument since that was one out of the three main points she provided against me. There are in fact different instances where the UN is directly involved in the protection and overseeing of the wellness of animals and nature overall. Two of these instances are in fact directly connected to the case at hand. They are the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea and the United Nations World Charter for Nature. Both documents, which are part of the UN ideology, contain information that serves to protect the wellness of nature and of the seas, and of course of everything included in them, which includes all animals of land, airborne, and marine natures. The second main point of the opposition is one I partially agree with. It describes the scientific opinions, experiments, and research that refer to dolphins as a species of advanced intelligence and one that has the ability to feel and be emotionally hurt, which means that while people are damaging and mass murdering vast amounts of these creatures, they are aware of it and suffering because of it. This serves to further highlight the need for politically strong and official legislation that can be upheld, and those in violation of it can be legally punished. Furthermore, as part of this point, my opponent suggests that organizations like PETA, who constantly fights for the wellness and better treatment of animals worldwide, are the ones that should be taking charge in dealing with this matter. While I agree that they should be involved, I cannot agree with my opponent's suggestion that they would be more effective than the United Nations on the basis that the UN is too general and won't be able to reach a consensus on how to approach the dolphin hunt. This previous comment was said by my opponent, and it would be accurate if we didn't already have the example of the UN involvement in the whaling matter, which has positively impacted the situation. Next, I was confused by the opposition's third contention, but after careful review, I believe it is similar to the opposition's second contention in that it speaks about the horrible psychological effects and deadly results that the hunt places on dolphins that are not slaughtered but sentenced to a life of captivity in marine parks. To sum that up, the first contention of the opposition is entirely wrong and therefore invalid, and the second and third seem to be related and both seem to further my idea that the dolphin hunt is extremely negative and should be stopped as soon as possible. Lastly, unlike the opposition claimed, I did actually present a plan which was my agreement with the resolution and expression that the UN should get involved and demand an end to the hunt in order to save the dolphins. It seems to me that the opposition's reasoning to reject my argument is based on attacking the effectiveness and link of the United Nations to the situation and using that to say that it should not be involved. But if you ask around or do some quick online research, you can find that the UN is in fact a well-liked organization that has time and again proven their effectiveness, and honestly, what is a better power to have on the side of the dolphins than the organization that is in charge of international mandate. Lastly, I would like to quickly point out that all of the information, research, and assertions that my opponent provided and presented should be immediately disregarded by the judge due to the simple fact that none of the research or sources of information used in the opposition's argument were cited by my opponent, so essentially her arguments regarding the work and words of others have no validity whatsoever.